modern beaches and barrier island systems. Next slide. This side this slide explains the overall characteristics of modern beach and barrier island systems. These systems form narrow elongated sand bodies that parallel the shoreline. They are composed primarily of sand sourced from the foreshore, shore face, and the backshore. Their size can vary greatly in width, length, and thickness along their extent. They may be interrupted by estuarine or deltaic environments. In barriers, these sands transition landward into back barrier deposits such as tidal delta sands, lagunal silts, and marsh sediments. Next slide. Foreshore and backshore characteristics. The foreshore is the active zone between the high and the low tide, shaped by swash and backwash. It contains mostly sand with lamination patterns and occasional gravel or mineral layers. The berm crest divides it from the backshore, which is impacted mainly during storms. Here, storm deposition and wind-driven sand movement create faint laminae and occasional biological disturbances. Next slide. Shore face zones. The shore face spans from the low tide mark down to the limit of wave influence. It's divided into three energy zones. The upper shore face is dominated by the strong wave action and longshore currents. The middle zone contains cross-bedding from the wave and currents interaction, and the lower shore face experiences calmer conditions and show fine sediments, storm deposits, and marine trace fossils. Next slide. Back barrier environments. The back barrier environments form behind barrier islands and include several subsettings. Washover sands are deposited during storms. Tidal channels cut through barriers and contain cross-bedded sands, and the tidal deltas develop on both lagoonal and seaward sides. The tidal flats and lagoonal deposits range from the fine sands to muds and peat, often preserving plant fragments and invertebrate fossils. Next slide. Shoreline shifts and facies successions. The shoreline shift due to sea level change and sediment supply. The transgression shoreline moves landward and during regression the beach advances advances seaward, placing nearshore sediments above offshore ones. And during the transgression, rising waters push the shoreline landward, depositing offshore sediments on top of the nearshore deposits. Next slide. Barrier island facies complexity. The barrier island successions are more complex than the mainland beaches, including both beach and back barrier environments. The transgression barrier sands deposited over lagoonal marsh deposits, and the regression lagoonal marshes sediments deposited over barrier sands. The barrier island environments create more complex vertical succession because they include both coastal and back barrier settings. During during transgression, shoreline landward places barrier beach sands over lagoonal or marshes deposits, and in regression shoreline it advances causes back barrier sediments to accumulate over earlier sand barrier sands. Next slide. Mechanisms of transgressive deposition. During a slow rise in sea level, erosion of the shore face drives the barrier landward. This creates a ravine movement surface as older deposits are eroded. In contrast, Rapid sea level rise can drown a barrier entirely, forcing the shoreline to jump landward and rebuild in a new position. These processes redistribute sand to offshore zones or into lagoonal areas as washover deposits. Next slide. Regressive barrier and strand plane deposits. When sediment supply is high and sea level remains stable or falls, barrier islands can prograde. The seaward advances builds regressive facies and can merge barriers into strand planes. Galveston Island is an excellent modern example in this succession. Beach deposits stack over previously deposited foreshore and shore face sands. Next slide. An ancient example of beach and barrier systems. Ancient deposits bo- record both transgressive and regressive systems. An example of regressive successions are Gallup sandstone in Cretaceous New Mexico and transgressive complexes Cliff House sandstone in San Juan Basin. Ancient beach and barrier islands deposits are preserved in many sedimentary basins. Next slide. The estuarine system. Coastal bays are relatively small, partly enclosed bodies of water that form along shorelines. They are generally grouped into two main types, estuaries and lagoons. Estuaries, whose name comes from the Latin word for tide and broadly understood as the seaward portions of river valleys that open into the ocean. More specifically, researchers like Dalrymple and Zeitlin describe estuaries as the drowned lower portions of river valleys that receive sediment from both marine and fluvial sources and are shaped by the combined influence of tides, waves, and river processes. Estuaries develop during periods of rising sea level or transgression as seawater moves inland along the river valleys. Over time, if sediment builds outward and fills the estuary, a process called progradation, it can eventually transition into a delta. Next slide. Physiographic, hydrologic, and sediment characteristics of estuaries. In this section, we're looking at how estuaries are classified based on their physical settings and the way their channels interact with the coastline. There are seven main types. Fjords are one of the most distinctive, and they form where glacial valleys with steep U-shaped profiles were flooded as sea level rose after the last ice age. Fjords or firths are related to fjords but have less dramatic relief. Rias develop in meandering valleys with moderate elevation changes, while coastal plain estuaries occupy low relief areas and typically have a funnel like shape that opens directly into the sea. Another group is the bar built estuaries. These also tend to occur in low relief settings, and they have an L shaped coastline with their lower parts running parallel to the coast. When these are temporarily blocked by sand movements or migrating dunes, they are called blind estuaries because their shape and degree of enclosure. They can resemble lagoons in many ways. Delta- Deltaic estuaries are short-lived features that form on the fronts of deltas and distributary channel shifts and evolve. Finally, tectonic or compound estuaries form where areas back into low relief plains created by tectonic forces, giving them a flask-like shape. Next slide. Wave-dominated estuaries. Wave-dominated estuaries are controlled more by wave energy than the tides. The mouth of the estuary is hit by strong waves, while tidal influences stay relatively weak. These waves push sediments along the shoreline and into the mouth, where it builds a spit or a sandbar. This barrier blocks most of the wave action, so only small locally formed waves are active behind it. Depending on the range and the current strength, a few inlets may remain open, but sometimes the barrier closes completely and forms a blind estuary or a coastal lake. Marine sand doesn't travel very far inland, and it forms over washover deposits or small flood tidal deltas just beyond the barrier. The middle of the estuary is the quietest area, so that's where the mud from the river settles. Mixing of fresh and salt water causes clay particles to clump together, helping them sink. These muddy deposits often contain shells, wood fragments, organic materials, and show signs of burrowing. Near the river end of the estuary, coarse sediments are carried and deposited in channels, and marshes can develop nearby. Examples of this type of estuary include San Antonio Bay in the United States and the Hawkesbury Estuary in Australia. Next slide, please. Tide-dominated estuary are found in areas with large tidal ranges where tidal currents are stronger than wave actions. Because of this, the overall energy inside this estuary is higher than what we see in wave dominated systems. The water is usually well mixed rather than layered. As the tides move marine sand into the estuary, long sandbars form parallel to its length. These bars help reduce tidal energy, but they also create narrow channels between them. And when tidal currents are forced through these constricted areas, their speed increases and the flow continues inland for some distance. Next slide. Mixed wave and tide dominated. Some estuaries don't fit neatly into wave dominated or tide dominated categories. Instead, they show a mix of features from both, and we can call this mixed energy estuaries. Mixed energy estuary shows features between wave dominated and tide dominated systems, and as tidal energy increases, barrier in the wave dominated estuaries become dissected by tidal inlets and elongate sandbars replace former barriers and tidal delta bars. The marine sand moves farther inland, and muddy central basins give way to sandy tidal channels bordered by the marshes. As tidal energy becomes stronger relative to the wave action, the barrier system typical of the wave dominated estuaries start to break apart and more tidal inlets form. Next slide. And that concludes our presentation.